political analyst in Yaoundé, Cameroon, and also Ason Kumbah, political analyst as well in Yaoundé, Cameroon. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us. So I'm also told that we have MacAnthony Akuhmbom, political analyst in Douala, Cameroon. Thank you, gentlemen. So let me begin with Ason, if you can hear me, Ason, and please let's try to keep our conversations, brief, because we do not have too much time. So 73 days, okay. That is actually longer than Biya has ever been away from Cameroon in, such a while, in over 4 decades in power. So what changes for a country when its head of state is gone for that long with no one willing to stay where he went to?
Well, what I would like to let you know is that President Biya has not been doing this. This is not the first time he has done it. If we have to accumulate the number of days he has spent out of the country, is going to make about 7 years. President Biya has had a style of governance, which is actually, I'll call it a culture of silence, where he does not communicate with the people, where he is very distant from the people, and he has made himself a god. You are going to realize that the basic principles that govern governance, such as transparency and accountability, Biya knows such thing. And that's the reason why being out of the country for 74 days, his ministers were not able to give an appropriate explanation on what is going on with him. And when he came back, he behaves in the same way, like there is nothing wrong, like everything is okay. These are the things that we, the opposition, have been condemning, saying that a president cannot be so distant from his people. And you're going to see that he's completely apathetic. He does not care about the feelings of the people. The people have been complaining for over weeks, and he has made no statement. Okay. Now, concerning the governance of the nation, you're going to realize that we have been on autopilot mode. And this is not the first time. The state is being run by other individuals, private individuals. And at the end of the day, we see every sector of development being affected. Nothing is going well in Cameroon. We are going down the drain. And unless we kick Biya out, we won't see the day.
Okay, now you did say that nothing is going on well. Let's pass the next question to Dr. Achang, because, Cameroon revived the vice presidency in April, and it is still empty. So who benefits from the vacancy staying unfulfilled or unfilled, and who loses? We have an issue with your audio. I do not know if you could just, try again. Let's come back to, let's come back to Professor Akuhmbom. If you can hear me, Professor Akuhmbom, let's hear your thoughts as well, because I just asked a question about Cameroon reviving its vice presidency. So who gains, from the unfilled position, and who loses?
Much for receiving me this evening. I think that the whole idea of the vice presidency, I think if we have to follow the law, to an extent, the parliament of Cameroon, in one way or the other, created a position which I don't know if I should say it's a legal position or not, but since the creation of that position of a vice president, it has been vacant, not necessarily because the president could not appoint someone to occupy the post, but because it is a political strategy in which they use and put in place to manipulate Cameroonians and keep them in a state where they keep hoping, but never actually getting to see reality manifest. And that is what has been happening for the past 43 years of the leadership of Mr. Biya in power. That is exactly what he has been doing for the past years that he has been in power. So it is something that when you look at it and you want to ask a question, is he going to do something about it? Is he going to appoint the vice president? You start asking that question, but not expecting to receive an answer because you don't know what might happen. He is somebody who has, for the past 40-something years, been leading in silence. It is a strategy he adopted, and I want to say that to an extent, it's a degree of impunity that he applies in his leadership style, which gives the people, in fact, he's indirectly telling the people he's not accountable to them. Why? Because he believes that they are not the ones who brought him to power. That's what I think.
Okay.
Don't forget, in 1982, when he came to power, he was appointed. He actually was not voted into power. And so since then, he has maintained his power, his position, fought for it, and kept himself in it, necessarily using democratic ideas and whatsoever elections, but not respecting the polls. So I don't think that he's going to, in any way, do anything to favor Cameroonians except what he thinks is going to maintain him in power or make sure that he's stay in power as much as he wants. I think that's what he's going to do.
All right. I mean, 1982, that's he's been in power even longer, even before I was actually born. But then, let me come back to Ason. Ason, if something had happened to President Biya in that hotel room in Geneva, not hypothetically, but if it had, walk me through exactly what would have happened next constitutionally and politically inside Cameroon, I mean, without a vice president.
Well, as a matter of fact, it's quite confusing. Biya has always ruled this nation in a confused manner where he actually puts in place mechanisms that makes the people go on loggerheads, and also keeps them in a superficial state where they don't really know what are his plans and where he is heading to. And that's the reason why today we are having conflicting laws. For example, we have a new constitution, which I've always called an illegal constitution, which amended the former, creating the post of the vice president. And I have always said that this constitution is illegal because this constitution had as goal to create the post of vice presidency, which is in violation of Article 64 of the Constitution. Article 64 of the Constitution precises that no amendment or revision of the Constitution can be undertaken if it violates principles of territoriality, the form of the state, unity, and the principles of democracy. Now, let's stick to the principles of democracy. The vice president will have as role to replace the president of the republic if the presidency is vacant. Now, that will mean that Cameroonians will be having a president that was appointed and not voted, violating Article 2 of the Constitution that provides that sovereignty belongs to the people. It is exercised by the executive and the legislative, and the people have to elect their leaders.
Okay.
Now, due to the fact that a vice president has not been appointed, it therefore means that we are going to be forced to make use of the former constitution, which I believe, as a legal practitioner, if the new constitution amending and creating the post of the vice presidency was legal, that constitution is not supposed to be used. But now, due to the fact that a vice president has not been appointed, we will only have to resort to the previous constitution, which states that in the case of vacancy, be it due to death, be it due to resignation, be it due to incapacitation, the President of the National Assembly has to seize the Constitutional Council that is going to establish, ascertain, and declare vacancy. Now, when vacancy is being declared, the President of the Senate is going to take over as interim President of the Republic of Cameroon, and he will have the responsibility. Yes, he'll have the responsibility to organize elections within 20 to 120 days.
Let me pass the
and
next
he has
question.
limited powers.
Let me pass the next question to Professor Akuhmbom. Still in line with this, the Senate president, Ason has actually said, Abubakri, Abdullahi is next in line under the Constitution, right? He has been in the post only since March. So How prepared is a man 5 months into the job to steady a country of 30 million people if the call came tomorrow?
In Cameroon, I think that politicians are always prepared, even though they are not prepared. Why? Because the main idea is just to occupy a post, not actually to lead. Because if you look at it, most of them are in those various positions to empower themselves, empower their families. They have never actually thought of the good of Cameroonians per se. So they will tell you they are always prepared and ready at any given moment if the opportunity is given. You see, if you can look at the very prominent example of Mr. Biya, who rules in absentia, who actually was out of the country, but the country was on autopilot, and he returned. Seems as if nothing happened, and everything seems to be going okay. That's the mindset. If you listen to what some of the ministers said when he was out, that's the same thing that is going to happen. If in case something happens and the president of the Senate is supposed to come up, he will just follow the constitution and you'll be sworn in and you would run up. You know, the whole idea is if he's stepping up, it is not for him to remain in power.
All right, I think this is actually our cue to, wrap up because, we really do not have that time. But thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time and for joining us on the conversation. We have sadly, Dr. Paul Achang, a political analyst, could not join us because of his audio quality. But we've had Professor MacAnthony Akuhmbom, political analyst in Douala, Cameroon, and also Ason Kumbah, politician, in Yaoundé, Cameroon. Thank you so much for joining us once again. And that's it on the conversation today. Do not forget to catch up on missed episodes on our YouTube channel, which is at News Central TV. You can also watch us on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Until next time, I'm Darshan Usman.